I saw you at the Comic Con in August.
Oh, cool.
And the first question I wanted to ask you is, it's like your first big blockbuster. How's it been? These like 4 months you've been working in promoting the film.
Well, it's been a pleasure, really. I mean, I'm happy that I really enjoy talking about this movie because I've had to talk about it quite a lot. So I feel lucky that there's many, many layers to talk about when you're discussing Tron. There's so many different elements to kind of take apart and appreciate. So it's been a real pleasure. I'm just so proud to finally bring this movie to the audience. It's been a 3-year journey, so we're all very excited.
When you prepare for a character, like a doctor, you usually go to a hospital. But how do you prepare to do a non-human like Cora?
Well, with Cora, I did several different types of research. I did a lot of research on Buddhism, on kind of the symbols of Buddhism, and figured out where Cora fit into that sort of mythic structure, because certainly the story of Tron Legacy is influenced by a kind of Buddhist tale. There's many different kind of theological references that can be picked up in there, and also political, kind of whatever people are looking for. There's broad kind of cautionary moral tales to be taken from it. But I was kind of interested in the Buddhist element. And also I did a lot of research on Joan of Arc, because it made sense to me that Cora was sort of the Joan of Arc of the cyber universe.
And was the look also inspired by Joan of Arc?
The look was, yes, partially inspired by Joan of Arc. We really liked the idea of having this kind of androgynous, utilitarian look, that she was kind of sexy despite herself, that she didn't have overtly kind of sexy hair and makeup and clothes, that she had this almost more childlike, boyish look to her. And I liked the asymmetrical bob and the kind of non-organic texture of the hair. It fit into the Tron world and ended up kind of influencing the way the rest of the programs looked on the grid, which is in itself influenced by several different things, including Blade Runner, as some people might pick up, and also Joe Kosinski's own idea of the future.
And now that you mentioned Kosinski, I saw an interview of you, and you said that you both developed the character of Cora.
Yeah.
How was it? And also I want to know, how do you got to the name of Cora? What does it mean? Yeah.
Well, you know, Joe and I worked together from the beginning to create Cora. It was a really fun collaboration. We really saw eye to eye when it came to what we were trying to achieve. I really give him credit for not forcing me in one direction or the other. I could call him at, you know, any time 6 months before we started shooting and say, I've got it, Cora's a samurai Buddhist warrior from, you know, 400 BC in Korea. And he'd be like, great, what does that mean? What are you bringing to her from that? And I'd say, well, she's got to fight with a sword. And he's like, okay, let's have her fight with a sword. And he got really excited about these elements that, you know, I had the time to obsess over while he's thinking of the big picture of the movie. I was just thinking of Cora, who at the time was named Paige. It became very confusing after a while when we were rehearsing that her name was Paige, because the word page is brought up at least 4 times in the movie, discussing the way that Alan Bradley receives communication from within the grid through his pager. So we said, okay, she can't be named Paige, because everyone's going to think that she's symbolically linked to the pager and that she represents the pager in the world. And we're like, that we can't have Cora, you know, Paige mean that. So we have a few different names. Her name at one point was Grace. Her name was, oh, something else I can't remember. And Cora came from the French word for heart, cœur, and we really wanted Cora to be the heart of the story. She seemed to be kind of the emotional center of the family, and so it seemed to make sense, and I like it. It used to be spelled differently, but that spelling was taken, so now it's Q-U-O-R-R-A.
And I saw your Twitter, and you retweeted a guy who said asked you if you wore the costume at home.
Yeah.
And well, that's the first question. Do you use it at home? Do you have any props of
No.
Tron?
All the props from Tron were so valuable they wouldn't let me take it home. They wouldn't let me borrow it for 5 minutes. They're each very, very, very special and valuable objects, and the suits are no exception. I mean, each one was made with such intricate technology. I mean, we had a group of engineers working on the suits, constantly fixing them, developing them. You put on the suit, and then they would spend an hour connecting your wires. So you really felt you were being turned into a piece of technology, and that wasn't something they could let you take home.
And finally, you have like strong political roots, your family and everything. And at the beginning of the movie, Sam is kind of a hacker also, but like open source guy
Yeah.
who wants to like give these Enron Windows, like front Windows. Is it like a settlement that makes the movie like a discourse? I don't know.
Is it a what that makes the movie?
The like a point that wants to give the movie.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a theme in the movie. Is staying true to Kevin Flynn's ideals about the potential of technology. His dream was always to allow for free information, for sharing of information, of sharing of new technology, because he believed that if we harness that technology and that power and focus it on saving the world, of solving issues like poverty and ecological disaster and so on and so forth, then then we could use technology for good. So the idea being that that technology shouldn't be reserved for small, rich groups of people, or used just for like military purposes. It should be used for all sorts of purposes to help make the world a better place. So I think that message in the film that really starts from those first scenes is one of idealism. Of this film is not a cautionary tale about technology itself. It's about what the wrong path for technology is.